Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cut the Film. Y'all know who I am. I'm the one and only host.
Yes, you are.
I'm just kidding. We're doing this together. I ain't just the main host. Got you here, but y'all know who I am. My name is Joshua, and right
What's
here
up,
I got
guys?
my
You
main
remember me?
right.
I'm Adam.
He's Adam. How you doing, man?
I'm good,
How's
man.
today?
Today was good.
What'd you do?
The usual work, gym,
Work, gym?
practice.
Oh, practice.
Then
What do you?
to go home and I'm going to go to my room and
So
finish
you're
watching some
so
TV.
in practicing, you are you on a team or you
No, I
coach? Okay,
coach wrestling. We're
nice.
not here to talk about sports. We're
Well,
talking
hey,
about
hey,
the
hey,
other
we got
podcast.
hey, they got to get to know you a little bit,
Yeah, I
something
get it.
personal. Now you know he's a wrestler. Catched a couple games in high school. This was a monster. But yeah, man. When we get home, get tired. Like you said, coming home after the gym, exercising. Once you showered and you get to bed, what's something you've currently been watching right now, aside from what we're gonna be talking about today.
So I've been rewatching The Walking Dead
Oh,
because
great
yeah,
show,
it's a great show.
amazing
I
show.
haven't seen the latest season
Uh huh.
only because I don't have cable TV anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just rewatching it all the way up until I'm gonna rewatch the entire all the seasons until I catch up right to the new season. I have been avoiding spoilers for the last season. It's very hard. I've like muted all the words of who dies, and I know motherfuckers gonna
Okay, so
die in
you
that show.
so you stayed away from the new
Yeah.
the new trailer of what's
I
gonna
haven't. I don't
happen.
want to know what's
Okay.
going on. It's
All
hard. It's
right.
very hard to, especially I'm on Twitter's and I block all the Walking Dead alerts.
It just to make sure you don't get
I know
anything.
motherfuckers gonna.
Or
I
you
know
just
someone's gonna die that
put your headphones on,
yeah
put
or
your
year.
your
Yeah.
finger in the ears. You don't want to hear nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, damn, The Walking Dead. I've
What about you?
I've caught that series like 2-3 times already.
Yeah,
That's how good it's
I
been.
forgot how good
Yeah,
it was, dude. I forgot like how great the first 5 seasons are, and
yeah.
they kind of get slow around 6, 7, and then when Negan comes in, that's when
And
it
it just
picks up
picks
right
up a
again.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that whole Negan thing that sparked a lot of controversy in it.
Oh
But overall,
yeah.
I feel like the execution of that show did really stay true to that comic of it.
Yeah. Oh,
And people need to know that like gore. Like
mm-hmm.
that's things like that when we see them in horror movies. They don't
Yeah.
they have no spectrum of it. They'll just go as crazy as they can.
The visual
But if a
effects.
show does it, they're like, oh, kids watch.
Uh, if you're watching that show, parents do better.
Yeah, no, but that show's great. I mean, people just don't like it. Everyone's just like, oh, zombies, but that's not what it's about,
It's about survival.
It's
The
yeah,
humans are the worst
survival.
fucking people in the show. They're the
Yeah,
worst villains.
yeah. Don't fear the dead, fear the alive.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, yeah, but no, that show's amazing because you fall in love with the actors more than you fall in love with the show that it is. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
you
definitely.
stick to one person and you're like, okay, this is Daryl's my dog, or
Yeah,
Carol, which both of them are amazing
both
as
of them are
well.
sick.
But for me, aside from the things that we're watching, I started watching one called was it The Patient with Steve Carell,
Oh, I've heard it. It's on
where
Hulu, right?
yeah, it's on Hulu where he gets kidnapped by he's a psychiatrist, but
Psychiatrist.
one of his patients ends up. Yeah, I barely started it. First episode was really good. And then aside from that, something just very corny, but for some reason that just got my attention. Um, the Masked Singer.
Oh God.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like I forgot what show ended up passing by, and they just played on. It just played, and I forgot what I was doing on my phone, but I was just distracted on it. And then little by little, I'm just like kind of like glancing at it,
Mm.
and I myself got caught in the who the hell is this guy? You get caught in the clues.
Man, look, I don't blame you. Sometimes when I go to my mom's house and my sister's watching like these weird home cooking shows or like these reality TV shows, like Desperate Housewives and stuff. Like,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
like, this is
yeah,
dumb. And I'm
yeah.
in the background and I'm like, probably like an hour later, I'm like, wait, so who's that again?
Yeah,
What
I've
did she
gotten
do? Yeah.
stuck on a couple
Why
of
is
those
she
shows
mad?
like that.
What is she
Yeah.
mad about this time?
That got caught with me with the whole bachelor thing,
Yeah.
bachelor or whatever. I was like, okay, I'm just on my phone, and I don't know. I'm just like, okay, wait. So he said what? What an idiot! Like, I don't know. It's just little things you get caught on. But yeah, right now I've been kind of like lancing on the Masked Singer. Pretty cool because it's just like they're masked, so you kind of don't know who that artist it
Mm-hmm.
is, and it's anything from an athlete to political. So you just don't know who you're gonna get, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just like, all right, well, damn, this person could sing, and then mask comes off, you're like,
Like,
oh
I'll check
shoot,
it out.
yeah,
I'm a sucker. You know, I'm probably a sucker for those shows too. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. Ken Jung's on it, Jenny
Ken Jong.
McCarthy, Robin Thicke.
I think the last reality show I watched like that, like competition, was probably America's Best Dancer back then.
America's Best.
Remember,
Damn.
remember we went to
Oh,
the
we went
show.
to the show. Yeah,
We
got us
went to the show
tickets.
back in the
Damn,
day.
that shit was that was
That
damn.
was a good. That was a good day. That was
That
a good
was a
time.
good day. We stood in line in the heat for like 45 an hour,
Yeah, it wasn't
but
that bad. And then you had signs and
we had
everything.
yeah, we're like
We
screw
sat
it.
like in the back corner. You can barely even see us.
I'm pretty sure if you go back to the
No,
episode,
I've gone back.
I've actually gone
I've gone
back
back
and
and
I'm
checked
like,
it out.
oh shit. I
I
mean,
was like, I pointed the car like that was where we were right there. I wonder if I can see you.
and then like you just see yourself for like that 1 second. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, right there. Yeah, I went to a couple of them because I had a friend that was actually one of the dancers in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got a bunch of tickets to keep going. So I was
Nice.
in there. A couple of times I was watching it on the TV, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm right there.
That's it.
But yeah, it's pretty funny. But those are some of the shows we've just been watching aside from what we're talking today. So
Mm-hmm.
let's get into the first topic. So we're gonna go into Marvel, Disney, She-Hulk, one of the only Marvel shows on right now. Before either a movie or a show comes out, have you been watching that one?
I have. I've been. I just finished episode the newest one. Yes, or this today actually. After work, I had a couple of minutes to myself. Watched it. As far as the whole series goes, I'm not sure what it's building up to. I know they're like trying to, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched. They're trying to, just trying to get something her DNA, right?
Yeah,
Like a
basically
blood
just a
sample.
yeah, just a blood sample or
And I mean,
anything that has
it
that
takes the
gamma.
whole episode, and then it takes what 30 seconds of okay, this is what's going on.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
this last
what's
episode.
why can't you just make it the whole show about her doing crazy shit?
I don't know. I don't. I mean, I know the character of She-Hulk.
I mean, don't get me
And
wrong. It's enjoyable. I'm enjoying the humor. I enjoy the aspect. It's a woman hero still trying to live
trying
a
to
life,
fit in like
trying to
today's society.
still trying to be in the social and find love
Yeah, basically a
what
typical.
normal people do.
Yeah.
People want to find companionship and all this, which is fine. It's funny. The jokes are good. I think the friends are good. The surrounding characters are
So
good.
yeah, the
But I just
cameo
think
so far
it's
too.
kind of like it's like a sitcom show, and then with like 30 seconds of mystery at the end of every episode.
True.
I feel like
I
a
do see
sitcom more
that.
than
There yeah,
a
that's I don't know if that's what they're trying to go for
maybe.
cuz
I mean,
it feels like you are watching like a show that
it's
comes
like
out on Fox.
it's like
You
a
know?
Malcolm Middle-ish because she talks to the camera, even though she does that in the comics. But
Yeah.
it kind of feels that way, like she's talking to the camera. It makes
Yeah.
you feel like you're watching those kind of shows where the
Yeah.
characters kind of break.
Yeah,
Break
well, I
out.
think yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know little by little they're gonna be like you said, introducing or just giving little hints of what the MCU has planned with She-Hulk. We already from trailers we see that Charlie Cox, he's gonna be making an appearance as
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil,
Mm-hmm.
in the new costume. Um, that's something a lot of people are excited for, and I was like, they kind of hinted it being like mid-season, but I don't honestly. For to me, I think they're gonna change it to the last
The
episode.
last
Like
episode.
you said, it's like it's just a sitcom of her life and what her daily struggles are as just trying to balance out the life of being Jennifer
Jennifer.
Walters and being She-Hulk, and so far she's been having a bit of trouble, you know but that just goes it's just typical, like you said, you're not thinking little dumb things that get her into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But still at the end, us as like Marvel fanatics, we kind of want a little more of like what it like what's the action between it. Like you said, we know that they're trying to get her DNA or her blood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird how this last episode just took, like you said, those 30 seconds, but I don't
The
know.
last the last few episodes, it's like the whole episode goes by, the plot, whatever, the friends, she meets people, and then the last like couple seconds is like, okay, this is what's really going on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of forget about it until the end. Like I was completely forgot what it was building up to until I saw the end of the recent episode, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But
I like the way they're going with that show. It's not like it's completely different than every other show they've had so far. It's probably closer to Miss Marvel than
I
any
don't.
other
It's
show. Like just the
yeah.
humor and
I think so, but I think
energy of it.
overall, Miss Marvel to me was a little bit more entertaining than She Hulk. Overall,
Hmm.
her name is She Hulk Tatiana Maslany. She's doing a good job as She Hulk, so I have nothing bad to say. I do enjoy her, both as Jennifer Walters and as She Hulk.
Yeah, she's adorable.
She's a good fit, and they got it. As for the cameos, I was expecting a little more too. We
I'm
got
not. I don't care
We
about the
got Mark
cameos.
Ruffalo.
I feel like the show's.
Should be just her.
I mean, it's kind of. It's cool to see one, but I don't want them to do what Star Wars did, where it's like cameo. Look who's
Yeah.
here. Look who's here. Look who's
Do you think
here.
it's a little distracting having the cameos, like the whole Wong situations?
Yeah,
Like I don't see what
if they're gonna be in there, which I mean it makes sense why Wong was there because he showed up
and
helping in Shang
and
Chi,
Shang Chi,
and
yeah.
then he's also
Oh,
so
he
that
was
makes sense.
him and Abomination were
But
fighting.
like I said, if they're gonna be a cameo, like have them have a purpose. Like Juan had an entire story arc, so it's like okay, cool,
Yeah,
and it not just show up like oh hey I'm here and then boom he's out, like they've done in the past. But yeah, I think he had a whole story arc, and that was pretty cool. Like not like how when Matt came out in No Way Home, he was like
yeah.
not even a minute, and then
Yeah,
like okay see you later.
but overall, anytime Benedict Wong, he's my favorite. Honestly, one of my
Yeah,
favorite characters.
he's the new fucking Nick Fury since Sam Jackson hasn't he's been
Oh
always jumping all
yeah,
the
Wong's
movies.
just gonna be
I think
making how many?
he's gonna be
That's
the
a
new
good one. That's actually a very good one. That
yeah
makes a
he's
lot
the
of
new Nick
sense.
Fury. Because I mean Sam Jackson's like 70 right? You can't do this shit forever.
Well,
So
no, right now, I mean, 3 weeks ago, right here, in California, they were having the D23 Expo, so
mhm,
that's where we got a little bit more of what Marvel is gonna bring to us in the
right.
future, because when Comic Con they only dropped like a little bit of it, and then we got like maybe another 20-30% of it, and in that one they kind of introduced a trailer for actual Nick Fury show with
Mhm.
the Secret Invasions. So I'm guessing that's the reason why maybe he hasn't made a couple appearances there. Just I know that show's gonna be coming
Yeah, I don't. I think I don't know.
because that's the route they're gonna go. Like Secret Invasions is gonna lead up to Secret Wars. So I'm guessing they just been having him on that. But overall,
Probably. I know he for sure because he didn't play too much of a big part in Endgame and all that stuff. But I think
no,
they're probably gonna send him off.
pretty good.
I
Yeah.
think he's gonna be a major character in it, and then probably gonna die,
And
and then that's all right.
then
See you
they're gonna,
later.
yeah,
They do every
the
other.
new event, yeah.
Uh huh. And
Yeah,
then
I could
Wong's gonna
see that.
take over.
Wong's gonna take over. Damn, but overall, show's is doing pretty good to me. Even though it's probably not on my top right now. Overall, Marvel's doing a pretty good job on it.
I think so too.
But also I know Marvel news something just came out these recent couple days. Ryan Reynolds he posted a little funny skit of
Oh, that's
Deadpool
right.
3.
Uh huh. We're
Wait,
gonna
you
get
did you
Hugh
get to watch
Jackman back.
that?
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, I'm excited, but I mean, 2024. It's
It's a little too
a little
long.
too long, but whatever. We have to. They like making us wait. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's. I wonder what they're gonna do. It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be like a buddy cop, like
Can,
in the cop movies there's like a rookie and there's like a old
yeah.
veteran. He's always angry. I think they're gonna make it kind of like that, like they
I
did with the last one.
I just hope well Marvel and Disney is doing pretty good. I give them a little respect just because they dropped an R-rated section on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So for people that love Daredevil and that was a Netflix show and it was rated R, so it was something that was adult rated. I'm kind of happy that Disney decided to
Yeah.
open that door and explore what that does.
Hmm.
And we've already known and we started loving Deadpool as it being in our ratings.
Yeah.
So I hope Disney and I hope
Oh,
y'all
for sure. I
listening,
mean,
Marvel,
Logan's on there,
keep
so
it
it's gonna
rated
be in
R,
there. Yeah.
yeah. But overall, that skit was funny. Freaking, I'm excited for it.
What do you think it's gonna be about?
I don't, I don't know.
I mean, it could be about.
It could be about anything. I just know that
True.
maybe that 2024 is, and
Logan.
just bear with me. Secret Wars is gonna happen. So 2024, and then in Secret Wars, we know that it's gonna be, this is
Multiverse.
the multiverse
You
saga.
think it's gonna end with them
It's
jumping
gonna
over?
end with them jumping in.
It
Because
has
right,
to.
he said it in there where he's just like, we're finding a way to make the perfect entrance,
Hmm.
and to get Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds just randomly jump into the freaking fight.
I mean, that'd be cool if they make it like a multiverse movie where they just jump into different universes
Different
and they just
that would
fucking do
be
a bunch of hijinks.
that would be great.
Just
Just
get
have a
yourself
bunch of
a
characters.
bunch of trouble and
Just
that'd be funny.
damn, that would be cool. And then
And then the final one they
just
end
get
up.
Cable in there too, since he
Yeah,
could travel time. They fixed the time
I think
travel
that'd be I think
machine.
that'd be fun
Just
because
go.
it's Deadpool. I mean, there's not like he's never seriously in like in a threat. I mean, the
Yeah,
guy
he
doesn't
he
die.
can't.
So I mean,
Yeah,
might as well
anything
the
could
third
happen to
movie just
him,
like, all right,
man. Just give
what do
him
you put
two
him against
hours.
Galactus? Let's see.
And the first one gets his freaking arms chopped off with little baby arms. Oh
That's like
god.
where that's like most insane case scenario. But
Yeah, no,
yeah,
but
I'm looking forward to it. It
to
should
me, that's what I think is
should
gonna
be good.
happen in the. So if it happens, y'all heard it here first. I
Yeah.
was right. Um, but staying on the Disney Plus, another great show that just came out that's in the universes. You said it a little bit earlier, Star Wars.
Mhm.
Star Wars just came out with Andor. Starring Diego Luna. We know him, and we got to know who his person was and his personality in
Yeah,
Rogue
yeah.
One. That's where we first saw him. So now, they gave him a show of his life, and he was loved by everybody when he was introduced. So
Oh, he did a great job.
he did do a
That's what
great
got him
job.
his show. True, I believe. But yeah, it's I'm glad to see him back. It's good to see him. You can see why he was won over by the crowd. He comes back and as soon as he starts talking, you're like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
He's that charming motherfucker.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he doesn't say much in like the first scene of that first episode. When he's like he walks up to the brothel and then he just kind of looks around. You're like, okay, you can already see like oh, this guy's
Yeah, he's
he's a
looking for.
scoundrel.
Yeah, but no, overall that show has been doing pretty good. I like it a lot. He's doing a really really good job. I like the whole, you know, well, we know him as he was, a lot. Well, said he was like a thief,
Mhm.
and we saw that in the show, how his upbringings, who he was raised, and a lot of people did point him as like a bad guy, but just
Oh, he's not. I mean,
like a
he's not.
bandit,
He's
just
like
per
that.
se, you know.
I mean, he's not a hero, but
He's
he's not.
yeah,
He's just a guy
but he's
that
on the good
makes more
side.
of the great decisions, but he tends to lean more towards the better decisions.
He's the anti-hero of Star
Hmm.
Wars, what you would call, someone that's not who's
A
willing to
lot of
get his
villains,
hands
yeah,
dirty. People, sometimes to get things done, you do need to get your hands dirty. And
yeah.
he's that perfect person, and I'm glad that we get to see that side of him in
I'm
this
glad he's
one.
back. I'm glad. I feel like I mean the whole atmosphere of this show is completely different than anything we've seen in Star Wars.
It is.
It's very grounded. It feels like you're ground level with everybody. There's nobody that's like more powerful than the other. I mean, as far as like status goes and what they do, but there's no
Yeah,
one like
true.
who can easily just like force choke you like Vader, or there's no one there's no one like Boba Fett who can
Boba
just shoot
Fett.
you, or like who has all these high tech gear. It's just regular thieves, regular crooks
Yeah.
versus this company, and I like it. I like the realism. It's like this Star Wars doesn't have to be always big and grand.
Yeah.
It can also you got still got these small stories that make a big impact because
True.
obviously it made a big impact in the unit in the whole the original storyline because
Yeah.
he helped get the plans for the Death Star. So
True.
you got to see. Oh yeah, he's just like a regular fucking thief, regular
Yeah, he's
person.
just what you would basically if you were living, and when
If you
you're
were
struggling to survive here,
uh-huh.
that's what he's doing in that show, and he does a really good job in it.
Yeah, I just like the realism as real as you can get in Star Wars, but the realistic aspect of kind of like they're chasing him because he murdered those two guys, so
Yeah.
now they're like all right, and then there's also building up to like
Oh, that
who is this shadowy company that's all like these people
that
that the senators are trying to buy money I mean,
Yeah, it's
it's
just the whole democracy and the republic of it.
it's totally different than what we're used to, and which is fine.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
that's
I'm
what
not a
I.
big fan of these kind of shows. Specific, like I wouldn't watch a show like if it was not in the Star Wars universe,
Yeah.
and it was kind of the same premise. I would not care that I wouldn't care less about the
Yeah.
show. I would not watch it. But I was like, all right, Star Wars, I will see what's up. You know.
Yeah. I was gonna say something and I totally blanked out on
Sorry.
it. No, 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 no. You're good. But what was it? Oh yeah, no, I forgot his name. But the guy who shows up in the third episode, the one that's a police officer,
Mm.
when he goes to look for him, I don't know what it is about him, but he's doing a good job at annoying me.
And so you know he's a good actor if you
Yeah,
hate the
if he gets
character.
you feeling some sort of
You're like,
way
oh,
about
this guy
him.
again. Yeah, yeah. That's how you know. It's like Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Everyone hated
Oh
him.
my god,
He was such an
dude,
annoying piece of shit.
he has a tragic story to that though.
To the
To
actor.
yeah, the actor that
Yeah, I've
he
heard.
was
Yeah,
hated so
people
much
hated him in
in
real
the
life.
show that people hated him in real
Yeah,
life.
I mean, it's same thing with the kid that or the guy that played Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter. Same thing. He would go out the streets and people would legit
Hate him
did
for
not
being
like him. It's like, dude,
yeah.
he's like, you know, I'm an actor, right?
But damn, some people get caught up in those universes. Those are movie lovers right
Yeah.
there. But Kyle Soller, that's his name. He plays Cyril Karm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing a pretty good job as well.
You want to get one of these, right?
Yeah, I was like, put me on the show,
Couple of these
man.
bad boys.
I know you're trying to do good, but don't be stupid. But no, yeah, Star Wars and Disney's doing a very good job with this show. Like you said, it's a little bit different,
It's more
which
adult. They
which is
actually had like
bringing.
they hinted to a sex scene when she comes in. She's all drunk. She's like, "Are you?" She
Oh
sent the
yeah,
"you up" text. And she
that's what
walks. She like the light was on.
the
And I
booty.
was like, "Damn, you got a booty
That's the
call."
booty call at 12.
And smashing some galactic cheeks.
Oh, that guy.
Oh man,
You heard it
yeah.
here, folks. Galactic cheeks.
Hey, she's fine though. She's
She's a
pretty.
cutie,
But
yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh, I was like, all right. And then she goes and sits on the bed saying, you know, the boy's about to get it on.
Damn, and he still goes for it after the whole freaking him giving him up.
Yeah.
Well, damn, we're giving you guys a little bit of the spoilers,
Yeah.
but you
Well,
know, if y'all haven't caught it, hopefully what y'all
just
hearing
put
here
us
is getting
whoever
you
edit
interested.
Ruben, if you're editing this,
Just edit it
put a
out.
spoiler sign. Pause this video. We'll be
Cut.
back like 2 minutes. Put the thing up, and then we can go back to business.
But no, they gotta hear what we gotta say. That's why they're listening to us, you
That's
know.
why, yeah.
But no, like you said, I like that difference of the show where those characters, like we're seeing the Republic version of it, or what goes around in the system of what's going on. We know this is after the whole, execution of all the Jedi's as well. That's what you said. Like, it's more of a show where it's like all you're using is your human strength and your mindset, your strategy, how you're gonna get away from things, being 3 steps ahead of the game, so you just don't get caught. So I like that about the show, a little survivor show. So I'm really liking this show, and I'm excited for, good.
Yeah, I'm looking
I
forward
like
to
that
the.
they dropped 3 episodes at once.
Yep.
It
I'm
just
looking
felt like a
forward to
movie just watching those three, and now we're back to waiting 1 week for
Yeah.
each episode.
I just like the whole the atmosphere of it. It feels very
Are you a
cyber.
person who? Oh, let's set off that topic. Do you like watching shows that like drop every week, or do you like it that how
No, no,
Netflix
no.
does it, where
I
they
don't. I
just
mean, I don't mind both. I mean, sometimes it's like uh, I'm used to that every week just because
it builds the
when we were kids,
anticipation?
it's anticipation like, oh cool, like speaking of like The Walking Dead, like we were talking about earlier, like remember one episode will leave you on a cliffhanger and you're like, fuck, I gotta wait till next fucking Thursday, and
Yeah,
you think
you
about it
gotta
all week,
wait,
you're like, damn, how the hell you get all upset,
and
and then
especially
Thursday
when everyone
comes,
talks about it in school.
yeah, you're like, yeah, yeah, and then but then you also have shows where it drops us all at once, which is fine too, like
For the days that
which
you
is
just
gonna bring
want to
us to our
binge
next
something.
topic, yeah, when they just dropped everything at
Oh
once.
yes. Oh yes. Next topic. We're gonna go into something a little bit deeper, a little bit more serious. A show just dropped on Netflix of one of the most famous serial killers, of
Mhm.
all time. Evan Peters. He plays the role of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mhm.
Show is on Netflix right now. Like you said, it was a show that was dropped all completely, so it's there for you to watch. It's, I believe, 12 episodes. starting from the first episode,
10,
you
10
know,
episodes.
10 episodes, you know, starting from that first episode, you get a little introduction of him, you know. What do you think of the show?
um, I thought it was fantastic. Evan Peters knocked it out the park. He is like, he really, every anytime he was with someone on screen, you felt like, oh, you felt the tension between him
Yeah,
and the character. Not necessarily, it didn't even have to be of one of the victims.
but
It
just
just
being with
someone that was around him. You're like a straight, like someone that he just met. You're like, oh man, like even like how
you already get the
just like
cringe. You're like,
this
I know
guy's
how this
so
is
like
gonna
this
end.
guy's so like so weird, so creepy, and I think he did a good job. The girl, the woman who played his neighbor, I forget her name. She did a phenomenal job, and
Oh
just
yeah,
it's just tragic what she actually had to live through in real life, like what she
just hearing
endured,
it behind the
yeah,
walls.
and just everything she had to go through, just be next to that guy, and the amount of times she tried to get the help for the people for the victims, how many times she
And
called
she
nine
got
one one,
denied.
and they would not come
Yeah.
because of the area it was located in,
Yeah.
and because they didn't want to deal with just
With
with the
yeah,
minority with the minorities in the area, like
anything that could be
mm-hmm,
basically said as a hate crime, especially right there. And like you said, it was a location where it was more of, you know, the black ethnicity or just drug addicts, homeless people,
mm-hmm.
just so an area you a lot of people don't like to be around, you know.
And there's a part in this in the show. I'm not don't know how real this is, how factual it is, but in the show they don't want to they see that Jeffrey Dahmer and one of those victims, they're gay. They're like, oh, we don't want to deal with
We
this
don't want to
shit. Like we
deal
don't
with
they didn't
yeah.
even want to walk into his apartment. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of that is fictionalized. It is Ryan Murphy, but yeah, that's why I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah,
And
of
then
course.
even with those two cops, they returned when they returned one of the victims back to
To him.
Dahmer.
Oh my
That
god.
and that actually happened. It's not a
It's not no,
fictionalized,
yeah,
and
and
it happens in.
and I like that in that episode they cut a clip at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the actual phone call of
Yeah,
her calling the cops after, you know, like what happened in
yeah,
the
and
situation. You
it's
could
and
hear
she actually the neighbor wasn't actually out there when that happened, so that's
that
fake
was
that she was
added.
there. But the daughter was, and the daughter was the
Told the
one was
mom
like, what the hell's going on? And then the mom was the one, okay. I mean, cause like as a cop, I feel like
as a
it's
just as a
just as a
human,
human
how could
being,
you
and you
not
see
see
you see this person clearly not conscious and not able to do this, and then you see this guy over here, like, oh no, it's fine. Like, what do you be like? Whoa,
no
whoa, whoa, whoa,
questions
wait
asked?
a minute, yeah, no questions asked. This is your this kid that looks like a kid. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, that's insane. That actually happened, and that's
yeah,
terrible.
and it is
And those
terrible. And
cops
those are still things
and those
that
cops got dismissed with paid leave. So they got paid people because the fucking the police union likes to protect their own. Anyway, you don't have to go into that. And
that's
that's
how it is. No, well, it is a serious topic in that sense, you know. And
yeah.
I did watch an interview with Evan Peters where he's actually just kind of giving you a little description of what the show is and what he went through to get into the part, and you know his communication with Ryan Murphy. You know, we know that they both have history with it. Ryan Murphy is the creator of American Horror Story,
Yep.
and Evan Peters has had a major role in American Horror
Multiple
Story, and
seasons.
overall, you know, honestly, Evan Peters is up there on on my top favorite actors of this generation, at least. You know, like I've liked them in a lot of. He's had a good
Yeah,
amount of
he's good. He's
movies.
doing
He
great.
had Kick Ass, where he plays the friend, which is
Hmm.
the irony where both of them, you know, Aaron Taylor Johnson
They're
and
both
they're
Quicksilver.
both Quicksilver, one in X Men and one in Marvel. You know, overall, Evan Peters just you could tell that he is a very dedicated actor. He puts a lot of effort and a lot of the
And
time.
the ladies love him, man.
Oh yeah,
I
of
don't know. I
course.
have not met one single girl that doesn't love that fucking guy.
That is very
Evan
true.
Peters, whatever you're doing, keep it up, bro. Anyway, so to get off topic. We're still to stay on
No,
subject.
but yeah. Oh no, but what I was gonna say right there, and it just had to do with what you were saying. One of the things that Evan Peters said in the show that they wanted to do was give us that realism of that what you said. They did not want to help, and
Mm-hmm.
when they could have stopped them from the beginning, you could tell earlier in one of the episodes too when we tell when he kills his first victim as a high school kid when he brings a stranger to his house.
Mm-hmm.
He has them in the car and the
Oh, and the
cops
cops
stopped
let him
them
go. Right. I think they were trying to tell us like there was so many opportunities
for it to happen.
for him to like get caught early, but it was just a negligence on
And
not
the
only the cops, it
ignorance,
was negligence on
everybody,
his
his family to start off with.
his
Yeah,
family. You know, they're so oblivious to what he was doing, and then it was just I think it was just a domino effect of one
it
thing
was. Yeah,
knocking over
it
the other
was
victim.
it was bound to happen. A little
Mm-hmm.
bit of Jeffrey.
Mostly the
His
cops though.
yeah. It just shows. Yeah, it's just the ignorance of police officers, and that's it is some truth because that's still going on today. It's
Mm-hmm.
a big controversy that always sparks when things like that happen. Like you said, we're not gonna get into it. That's for a different podcast. But just a little brief history on him. His complete full name is Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. He was born on May 21st of 1950. He was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. His mom's name was Joyce and his dad's name was Lionel. We know from the show, his dad worked as a chemist, and so he was never there around the time.
So speaking of the dad, it's interesting. I mean, I didn't do too much research on if how much that is true, but his dad would they would dissect roadkill,
That
and
they
then he
yeah
would teach
do
him how to burn, how to
taxidermy,
take fur off the dead body or
the skin,
the
how to
skin.
use
So
acid to
I mean,
dissolve like the muscle tissue.
I mean that as a little kid, that kind of stuff sticks with you.
Oh yeah,
Like
of
especially
course.
so I can see how as he got older, I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking
Mm.
about. So as he got over, it may had
Yeah,
an effect
well, yeah, he
on
lived
his
in a very
brain.
domestic violence home. He would always just he grew up watching his mom and his dad fight. The
Hmm.
mom had she suffered with depression and
She
she
also kind of
suffered
had
with
mental illness,
she
right?
had a mental illness as well. I don't know if it was mental illness. I don't know if she was just given an excess of medicine because we know that she was abusing
And
drugs as well,
as she was
even and
pregnant
as
with the
she was
baby,
pregnant with
and that's what the
Jeffrey.
dad in the show blames her for taking all the pills, and her rebuttal is, "Well, the doctor told me to take the pills. What do you want me to do?" Right?
Yeah,
So it's kind of a that I mean it makes sense for her
it
if
was just
she's
the
taking a bunch of
substance.
pills
Yeah,
as pregnant. I don't know how safe that is, and also I mean if the doctor's telling you at that time in the 70s,
you're
yeah,
just gonna listen.
medicine wasn't
What? It,
spectacular. I mean it was still better than it was 70 years ago, but
yeah,
it wasn't like what it is today, you know.
yeah. No, I understand that. Yeah, but yeah, we know that the mom, had substance abuse, and that's a lot of what they had in fighting, and like I don't like you said, it's just a lot of stuff that was added by Ryan Murphy that had to do with how his life is. We don't really potentially know fully what happened because it is their life. We only get little glimpses of the people who
Mm-hmm.
survived him or just knew him growing up. Um, I read about the brother.
David.
His name's David. Yeah, that apparently once a lot of things started coming out about that and here in the backlash of what happened with Jeffrey Dahmer, he switched his name.
Really?
He switched his name. He's no longer known as David. So the last
David Dahmer? What is he?
no one knows.
Oh, he
He
completely changed his name.
yeah, the
I thought he
last
just changed his last name.
no, he changed everything. He literally
He doesn't want
he
to
said it
be
was
associated at
him.
all.
Yeah, no social with anything that has to do with the family. But the last thing, yeah, he
I
was
mean,
married with two kids, and after 2004, he changed his name and just disappeared from
well,
the
hope he's
eyes.
doing well. That sucks for him, man. That's such a terrible thing to have to go through. I can't imagine if I found out one of my brothers did that shit. I'd be terrified, you know. But
Yeah, but I don't know.
it's unfortunate what happened,
it is
and I mean
unfortunate.
it's what happened to the victims. There's a couple episodes where it gives you their perspective. Is specifically episode 6.
The POV version
Mm-hmm.
of what happens in the eyes of the victim.
Yeah, and
It was cringy to watch, especially as
I mean it was
a
basically
male.
like a love horror story
Yeah,
where this guy he falls in love with Jeffrey, and they're dating, and then he doesn't understand realize that he's dating a
freaking
fucking
serial killer.
monster.
Yeah,
And it's sad because of his situation. You know, he's deaf. He's trying to he's gay and he's black, and during the time it was very it was very I don't know how to say this without sounding you wrong.
It was
People didn't accept
controversial.
you
It
back in
wasn't
the day for
accepted. Yeah, it
being
was
like
a
this. Yes.
controversy. Yeah, a mixed. Yeah, and
And
it
then
was something. Yeah,
so but yeah, if it was an unfortunate situation, and then you feel even worse for him because of what happens to him,
yeah.
and the fact that he had a chance to leave and then he didn't. He
He's stuck.
he. I don't know how factual this is. Maybe I don't know. I know there's a lot of interviews with Jeffrey Dahmer has on YouTube, and he
Yeah,
confesses to everything. So
true.
this guy he leaves, right, and Jeffrey lets him leave, and he comes back. He's like, I forgot my car keys, and then that's couple
Sparked
split
it.
seconds. He's like, you know what? I don't want him to leave, so
He just went
that's when he
into
that's when he
survival mode.
that's when he
You
killed
know,
him.
he suffered from loneliness too. Always seeing fights. Yeah, like you said, the dad would spend time with them, and what they would do is basically something. He was already. I don't know, how would you say, like, since I don't know, since birth he was like,
Predisposed.
yeah, like I don't know, no, not predisposed. Well, he was like raised to be
You
to what
think it is
happened,
it was
like,
inevitable of what
and
he was going to
yes,
become.
yeah, it was just inevitable, especially from what he went through
I
with
mean,
his
it
parents
has to do
and the
with.
solidarity. And
I mean, they have.
no one asked when he was in high school. She would show up to school drunk with, I
Mhm.
don't know about him taking alcohol to classes, but he would get there drunk,
And so
always
that's
reeking
an
of
addiction. He
alcohol.
already had an addiction to alcohol,
And that affected him
which
when he went into the
eventually
army.
led him. Yeah, exactly. He got kicked out the army for too much alcohol, and then I think just the fact that he was already an addict at such an early age, his brain was already super absorbent to being like addicted to other things. Like they say, once an
True.
addict gets
Every
done, they're more likely to do other stuff,
Especially
right?
in the
And for
obsessive
him,
time.
it just happened. It happened to be
Taxidermy,
killing
roadkill.
people. Like he would get turned on by killing people, just more being in control of them. That's me. And then he would have sex with the dead bodies, and then
Eat
eat
them.
them, which in my opinion makes him the worst serial killer. I mean, his body count isn't as high as John
Hi,
Wayne
but
Gacy's
oh
because he killed
yeah,
about 33 people. Ted Bundy killed about what 20 something.
yeah,
I
about
mean, horrific. Don't get me wrong. Both of them,
everything.
all of them are
But to
horrific
actually
people.
eat
But in my personal opinion, I feel just the fact that he would have sex with the bodies
and then
and
eat them.
masturbate to them or and eat them. And then the fact he just had them hanging out in his room. Bottle
Oh,
one was in a
oh, like that scene when in the first
he
couple
opened the door.
episodes when
There's
he
a
opens the
head in the
fridge and there's a
fridge,
head on the fridge.
and
Oh
then he
my
had body parts
god.
in the freezer. He had people dead person in his room, skulls. He had a vat of acid with body, and that he was not a mentally well person. You
He
have to be sick,
wasn't, and no one, and at
and
that time, it was just something that a
not a lot
lot
of
of
people
people, no one knew
knew
what that.
about. And there's a scene in the show and where they talk about dissecting his brain because they want to see what kind of person, what kind of brain would a person need to have for them to want to like doing this stuff.
Yeah,
And then they didn't want, the family said no, or the family said just destroy him completely. We don't want anything
to do,
with him.
yeah.
Yeah, which I mean they dissected John Wayne Gacy's and he did similar crimes where he would rape and murder
His
men,
victims.
and they found nothing wrong with his brain. So
No, it was just an
he
obsession.
was just yeah he was just
It's just, I don't know. Like you said,
so
it's just an addiction. It's a
it's
kink. It's like, I don't
and
know.
then what I think is interesting, well not interesting but kind of odd is in the 70s or from like the 60s to like the 90s there's so many serial killers, so many. And I think a lot of it to do is because you have the Night Stalker, Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, Ed Gein, all these people,
Yeah.
and then or you have the Manson, yeah, all these. Or, he's more of like a not a
No,
serial
man.
killer, but
Manson
I
was.
think you can
Well,
put him up there.
Yeah,
You
he
have
was
some of
up
these
there. He
weirdos,
had some
right? And
counts.
I think
Richard
it's weird
Ramirez.
because back in those days, there wasn't enough. Obviously now it's easier to track someone. It's easier to know what they're doing, where they are, and this and that. I think it was just so much harder to find people back then,
It
and it was so
was.
much harder to communicate with people. Because now, if I wanted to talk to my cousin in Florida, just
You just give him a
boom,
call.
boom, there it is.
Yeah.
What's up? Like now you can't do that. I
Yeah.
mean, back then you couldn't do that. You had to like, all right, I'll see you next week. You fucking wouldn't see them until next week.
Yeah, very true.
You wouldn't talk to them for an
but if
entire week.
anything, with your phone, you're just gonna text his
Yeah,
ass
it's
or
like I'll see you
something.
next week, and then I'll text my home like, hey, what's up? Blah blah blah. We still
Yeah.
talk, but you wouldn't legit not see him for a week.
Yeah.
to me that seems like a
Yeah,
damn.
it was more isolated
But
there with
and I think
communication and
I this might be a weird hot take, whatever you want to say, but I think the new serial killers now are the mass shooters.
yeah,
I think
I bel
I think
in
they're
that
comparable
sense, yeah.
to how many there were back then to how many we have since since
I don't know. It's just
seven
I don't
or
know.
since
That's
1991.
the interesting part of what you said. Like serial killers. A lot of people say that they have a mental
And they're
issue.
saying the same thing for mass shooters.
Yes, and we're saying the same thing for mass shooter.
And
But
they
but the
get famous off of their crimes, and so do the serial killers are famous because of their heinous crimes. Mass shooters are famous because of their heinous crimes. And I think
I think that's just when it
it's
comes
just an evolution of the culture
to like true
of
crime
America. I
lovers.
think. Damn, we should make another podcast.
I mean that's just no, that's just how the world is. Like something about tragedy, something about things like that. Now in this world is always exploited.
Mm-hmm.
They always use exploitation for people to make money off of whatever tragedy there is. And like
So speaking of on that, like people make money. So you know how they're making like movies and shows about serial killers from 70s, 80s, 90s. I don't see it being entirely impossible where in 20, 30 years they start making movies of why these
mass
mass
shooters.
shooters did what they did.
The
I don't see
no,
it
I don't
completely
think
out the realm of reality. I don't see it.
I don't see it either. Just because I feel like a lot of people in this movie industry are, sorry to say it, but y'all lazy as fuck. Like you guys are remaking movies that don't need to be fucking remade.
Or
Like
they need to make movies
the
that don't need to be made.
imagination and the creativity of that, like that's something that us in movies are intrigued into. There has to be creativity in it. We want to see something new. We want to see a different, like a movie with a cliffhanger where you're like fuck,
Speaking of
or just
being
things like that.
speaking of being more creative, give us a new slasher. We need more killers.
We
We
do.
need more killer movies. Come on, guys.
Well, the last one was what, XXX.
I don't know the
That was.
last one I saw was Black Phone. I saw it, Ed. So we speaking of new killer movies and slashers.
That's a good movie. That's a very good movie. That
Yeah, we're
in
gonna
the
talk
horror
about
in the
it
horror aspect. We'll talk
in
about it.
in the upcoming month in
Oh,
October.
of course.
We're doing all horror movies. We're gonna do slashers. We're gonna do supernatural. So stay tuned for that. We got
Yeah,
a lot of fun spooky stuff for you guys this coming month.
it is. Yeah, we're coming
So
up. What do you?
what's your favorite scary movie?
uh, Paying tribute to Spearman right there. Um, I don't like scary movies.
You don't like scary movies, pussy.
No. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. No. Well, I stick to
What
it's
genre of scary movie? Because there's a bunch. You can talk.
there
We can
there
talk
is
a
a
bunch.
bunch. The ones that always have intrigued me as a child, and people, and you'll probably be like, why the fuck are you like into that? Like for me, it has to do with exorcism.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A lot of exorcism movies that have came out haven't been as great,
Like
but it's just
like people getting possessed.
something in that spectrum is something that like is really catching to
Mine
my
is
eye when it
similar.
comes
Mine
to
what
that.
creeps me out is more of
Paranormal.
not like paranormal it's that, but like more of like movies about cults. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah, because cults are yeah.
Like movies that like Midsummer. That movie was
That movie was great.
insane.
Oh my god, yeah, that movie
And then
was.
in this one also Hereditary, which was
Hereditary
about
was
it was paranormal and like a cult involved in a cult too.
yeah,
That movie, like stuff like that, where it's like it's kind of like psychological and it makes you like
yeah.
your tummy like oh man I can't believe
There's a
like there's like a realism to what they
to it
talk
is.
about
Well, yeah, because
and it's like
that's
it.
that's another thing that comes with the whole serial killer part of it, where it's just like to a lot of people and it has to do with it because in the show there's a book of Satanism, and his
Yeah,
favorite movie to watch
Jeff
before
Dahmer
doing
was
was The
a
Exorcist
Satanist and he
4.
watched the Exorcist
And
4.
the part he would always go to, which I don't know if that's truly realistic, is he would just go to the exorcism
Yeah,
most part of it.
and I heard one of the guy that got away Tracy he said that when they were watching that movie he would get into like a trance and start chanting to himself.
Yeah.
So I mean
Well, in the show, you could tell when he's talking to his grandma, he says, "I don't believe in God,"
Yeah.
so we could only
So
perceive
yeah,
that he
staying on this religious
bugged.
thing, he actually baptized himself before he died. He was baptized. He devoted himself to Christ. So I don't know how controversial that is for you Christians that watch this, and you would you
Do you,
accept someone like Jeffrey Dahmer into the pearly gates?
well, it is said that
I mean,
for that religion, once you're born again and you attest to all your sins, like
well,
you're basically given a cleanse.
in the show, the father says this, Jesus is on the cross, and next to him are two criminals,
Yeah.
and one of the criminals looks at him and goes, "Oh well, if you really are the son of God, then why doesn't he save you, right?" And then the other one, the criminal next to him, says, "Oh, I hope you forgive me or remember me when I get to the pearly gates." So
Yeah.
one of them doubted him, another one believed him,
Believe them. Yeah.
and then Jesus says, "You're coming with me." He said, "What do you mean you're coming with me?" So all you need to do in Christian religion is to all you gotta do is believe that he's the son of God and you'll be forgiven. And
And
that's
you're
why Jeffrey
accepted.
Dahmer, towards the end of his when he like a
Yeah.
year before he died, he
That
devoted himself to
that
Christianity.
that was.
I think it was for him. He regretted what he did, and
Oh yeah.
he didn't want to if
And that
he
no
didn't
no
want
no that
to
was that was
pay for it in
actually
the afterlife.
that was something very interesting about it when it comes to listening to his actual recordings and interviews of him when he's confessing. Like he's giving up everything. He's literally what we saw in the show as well. He said, "I'm just gonna give it to you guys all. You guys already caught
Hmm.
me. There's nothing else to do. Like I'm just gonna give it to you." And but throughout him confessing through all those sins, you can hear the sadness and the tragic that he did kill those people. Like he did have a sense of remorse because couldn't explain his own sickness, his own.
He knew he was sick and
He
he
knew he
knew what
was
he was doing
sick
was wrong, but he just couldn't help it.
because at that time there were like now there's so many chiropractors. There's so many phone numbers you could call on your phone to
Psychologist.
get psychology. Yeah. Oh,
You said
sorry.
chiropractor.
Sorry, that I need one of those right now. My back be aching. But yeah, psychologists. I thought, and I think I messed up earlier
It's
too.
okay, keep going.
But yeah, no, like now we have so many psychologists around that people could get the help. As back then in the 70s, it was something a lot of people didn't talk
Taboo,
about. It
yeah.
was something a lot of people weren't doing at the time because throughout that time, there was insane asylums. So once a person was just, deemed crazy, they would just get sent there,
Yeah.
and that's where they would stay. And another thing that felt interesting to me in that aspect that you said of serial killers, mass shooters being serial killers now.
Hmm.
I just think there's just a laziness to it for the sense of back then, like, and that's where the whole mental illness came to me of like, do they really have mental illnesses if they're really that in like
Mm.
being 15 steps ahead? They know
Hmm.
who their victims are going to be. They know how
It
to
was
stalk.
it was more
It
planned.
was more planned than a guy now is like, oh, I got,
I'm gonna get a
someone's
gun. I'm
called
gonna
me
get
a
some
bully,
ammo.
I'm gonna just get a gun and I'm gonna go shoot people. That's what I feel like. Yes, mass shooter, and I know these are tragedies, and prayers to everybody who has lost someone to those type of tragedies. um but I honestly don't think mass shooters have, like, I don't know, I don't consider them serial killers. I just
No, just not.
consider
I'm not saying they're the
them
same. I'm just saying they're comparable in the sense that
that it's a
there are so many
multiple
so there are
victims.
multiple killers back then in from the 60s to the 90s, and there's so many multiple shooters that happened from the 90s until now.
Yeah,
They kind of just took over from what the serial killers were everywhere. You had, like I said, I mentioned them earlier. There's a bunch of them, and then now there's a bunch of
serial
and
killers.
there's not a lot of serial killers you hear about, and more mass shooters. You know what I'm
True.
saying? So they kind of just swapped roles because
True.
barely
Yeah.
there's zero to none in
Yeah.
this back then until the
True,
90s showed
true
up.
crime is gonna be true crime podcasts are gonna be suffering if it's just like that, because a lot of those podcasts, they really go deep
Oh, there's
inside every
there's
serial
plenty of
killer's
true
life.
crimes that people can go over. It's not just
It's
serial killers, just a lot of
just overall
sick people
everything.
like just I mean, we should just make another podcast about that shit. Ed viewers.
If you guys want us to make another podcast, drop a comment
True crime
below.
podcast.
We'll
Talk
hear
about
it.
people.
We'll make
Talk
another
about crimes
one.
and stuff.
We're
We
here to
should do it.
entertain y'all, But, going back to the last topic that we were talking about with Halloween
Yeah, sorry,
season
we go on a
coming.
tangent
Yeah,
sometimes.
we
We
went
get
on a
lost.
tangent,
It's fine.
It was still on the whole Jeffrey Dahmer. There's a lot of things to be said about this person, and, it's just something that can be talked about
Hmm.
and is going to be talked about for still
Years to come.
years to come. But in going back to horror movies, yeah, I would say exorcism movies. But first off, first movie of Halloween that I probably would watch. It doesn't have to do with horror, but it's like sci-fi-ish. And it's always a movie I do watch the first day of October is Signs.
That's a good one. Alien movies.
Yes.
Gotta love me my we did the episode about Up a couple podcasts ago. Yeah, I love me some alien movies. Doesn't matter how cheesy it is. Mars Attack is my shit. I
Oh,
watched that
Mars
movie.
Attack. Oh, we got
It's
him. We
not
got
a
it up
scary
there right
one.
there too.
It's not a scary
The
one, but
creativity when it comes to
you know,
sci-fi movies is
the
just
creativity
great.
was great. Anyways, back to the horror stuff. Yeah, for me, it's definitely like the
The cult.
psychological
So what's a good
paranormal
cult
thrillers.
movie that you could
It doesn't necessarily have like a cult, like a group of crazy people. Just like like devil worshipping or like stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
that shit creeps me out. I'm not a huge believer of that stuff, but it's still just creepy. That just how how it's shot. Like the movie. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've seen the movie The Witch.
Yeah.
That one, it's shot entirely in a
POV.
cabin, and with
Yeah.
like there's only like three actors, like, the whole movie's about there's just them in the woods. And you guys, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's amazing. The ending, it's gonna
It's great. Yeah, it's gonna
it's
blow your
just you're
mind.
just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
It's like a slow burn. Like something's gonna happen, and you're waiting for it, and there's creepy shit that goes along, and it hooks you, and
It's
then
that
but then
anticipation
when
that you're like,
but
okay,
then
what?
when it fucking goes,
They
god
deliver.
damn,
They deliver.
it's a roller coaster. Yeah, those kind of movies. Those are always pretty
Yeah.
entertaining.
Well, I'm a big horror thing
Oh yeah, I
person.
love scary
Like,
movies.
well, not just
October's
overall
my shit.
horror. Like, yeah, overall spooky season's my season. Like, I'm a huge freaking ghost. I love. I mean, anything that has to
Do
do
you believe in
paranormal.
ghosts?
I do believe in ghosts, and
Really?
yeah, I got a couple stories that I could
Ooh,
tell.
we can talk. We can have a whole fucking ghost story podcast. I'm down. We can do one episode where you just tell
Yeah,
ghost stories. I don't
yeah.
necessarily have ghost stories. I've never seen one. I don't believe in them. But I have. I know people. My brothers told me some. That he
Yeah.
happened to him. My
No,
cousin.
no, honestly, it is.
I,
It is a real thing, and it's a really big topic to talk about because it does have to do with the whole life and what comes after
I
death.
believe it when I see
And okay, well,
it. Send me to a haunted house, people. Let me go. Put me in like a Waverly
no,
Hills or
I'm gonna
something.
I'm gonna take you to
Give me
one.
like all right, take me some ghost hunting. I want to talk to some
You down to
spirits.
go? All
And then
right.
maybe that'll change if it
All
changes my
right,
whole
all right,
life.
Ethan.
Then that's
All right, for sure. You heard it here, guys. He says he's down. If he doesn't do it,
do a camp
we'll even
for
do
it.
a lot of Instagram live of this when we're inside the haunted place. See who's the first one to run out. We're gonna have to. All right, we'll do that as a challenge. We're gonna have GoPros on each other, but you're gonna be on one end of the place, and I'm gonna be at the other end of
Do
the
it,
place,
bro.
and we're gonna have to meet up at the center.
What's gonna happen? What's the worst that can happen?
If you don't want to be just being us two, and anyone is down to come with us,
Well,
we'll
someone
do
needs
it.
to record us.
Oh well, yeah, and of course. So we got. Well, how do you think we're doing
Yeah,
these?
but someone
We
needs to
got
follow
cameras. We
us.
got. Of
We don't
course.
have enough cameras to say we don't have that much of a budget.
Not yet. So that's why we're doing the whole POV. We'll have one on our face, and we'll have one recording away to see.
Okay.
Like we'll have one in our hands that
Anyways,
we're
we're
recording.
going off. We're
and
talking
just
about
do it.
other stuff. I'm down to have.
But that's
That
but
sounds
that's
fun.
yeah. That does
sounds
sound fun.
fun.
Just get some flashlights. I got a couple places, and there's a couple places in Nevada that do it. That have like places. There's hotels.
Okay.
But like I said, I've had my share of ghost experiences to actually consider myself a believer, and
Yeah, we'll have to save that
aliens too. I believe in that.
We'll have to
like,
save that for another podcast. But this,
yeah.
I would like to talk to this movie. We should make another one. I have so many podcasts. Anyway,
That he got
let's
so
close
many
this out.
ideas. Well, y'all know what y'all listening to. Thank you for hearing us. You can like and subscribe. Comment below if you guys want to talk about any upcoming movies that are gonna come that you guys want us to break down. We have so many podcasts here in Higher Passion for any of your likings, whether it goes down to us movies. We got everything in entertainment. We got music, we got sports, we got comics,
stuff.
we got relationship talk. Anything that catches your interest, we got it here. Higher Passion. Once again, my name is Joshua. Right here,
And Adam,
my other host to host. We're the
co-host
hostess,
with
the
the mostest.
mostest. Yeah, thank you for listening.
All right,
Good
guys.
night.
Cue music.
How long was that?